Hi, so today I want to talk to you about social penetration theory. Social penetration theory was developed in 1973 by psychologists Erwin Altman and Thomas Taylor. The theory says that relationships began and deepened through self-disclosure. According to communicationstudies.com, in the beginning, people established relationships by disclosing many simple and harmless facts through small talk. As relationships grow, the rate of self-disclosure slows while the facts disclosed become increasingly intimate. Intimate self-disclosure allows others to penetrate a person's public front and discover his or her innermost self. So pretty much, you're just getting down to someone's core, pretty much, figuring out what their beliefs are. It's also good to note that relationships tend to stagnate when the people involved refuse to self-disclose. Meaning, like, if you don't want to let someone in or tell them personal stuff, then chances are the relationship will stall or not evolve, I guess you can say. I'm going to move on to self-disclosure now. Altman and Taylor describe the process of self-disclosure as peeling back the layers of an onion. So, pretty much like, the onion theory is like, an onion is like a person. There's layers to an onion and there's layers to a person, and you have to peel back those layers to get to the core or the center of an onion or a person, of course. But yeah, the onion it possesses both breadth and depth as well. Breadth refers to the various facts or faces of a person's life, such as work, family, community, and like the hobbies that they do, of course. And the depth pertains to the details like concerning each of those areas. So the outer layers of the onion represent information about a person that they would let the public see or know, such as like your physical appearance and speech. So pretty much like your front stage, what that is, if you know what a front stage is. And then the deeper layers represent more intimate information such as like a person's thoughts, feelings, and relationships with others. So that's pretty much like your backstage. And so like as a person self-discloses to a friend or partner, they peel away the outer layers of their self toward exposing their core nature, if that makes sense. So as you're expressing your self-disclosure, you're pretty much just giving information to your friends and letting them get through layer of you. Altman and Taylor talked about some stages of intimacy that result from the process of self-disclosure, and now I'm going to go over these with you. One is orientation stage, also known as the small talk or first impression stage. Communicators become acquainted by observing mannerisms and personal dress, and by exchanging non-intimate information about themselves. Interaction adheres to social norms too. So pretty much like it's, this is like you're just getting to meet somebody. Yeah, your orientation stage. You're telling them what you want them to know. And then 2 is exploratory affective stage. So communicators begin to reveal more about themselves, such as their opinions concerning politics and sports teams. Deeply personal information is withheld, of course. And then casual friendships develop at this stage, and most relationships stay at this level. The 3rd stage is affective stage. Communicators begin to disclose personal and private matters. Personal ways of speaking, such as using unconventional language, is allowed to come through, of course. Communicators feel comfortable enough to argue or criticize each other in this stage also. So this is pretty much where like romantic relationships develop in this stage, of course. And then the 4th stage is stable stage. Communicators share a relationship in which disclosure is open and comfortable. They can predict how the other person will react to certain types of information. So this is pretty much just like, you're in a relationship, you're comfortable in a relationship, and your other person knows you. And then the 5th and final stage is deep penetration. This occurs when one or both communicators perceive that the cost of self-disclosure outweighs its benefits. Communicators also withdraw from self-disclosure, thus ending the relationship. So it's pretty much just like, this is where they kind of just sign off. But yeah, so that will lead me to reward and cost assessment. Okay, so self-disclosure results in vulnerability, and becoming vulnerable to another person can carry significant costs. So the extent to which a person chooses to self-disclose depends upon the outcome of reward cost assessment, if that makes sense. In a reward cost assessment, communicators weigh the risk of self-disclosure against the potential rewards. Reward cost assessments become more critical and frequent as relationships deepen and the risk of self-disclosure rise. The assessment's outcomes determine the volume and types of information a person will share with a partner. Also, when the cost of self-disclosure outweighs the potential rewards, self-disclosure stops and the relationship stalls. So when the good or when the bad outweighs the good, it pretty much just stops. I think that's kind of what I got from that. But that leaves me left to talk about the critiques of social penetration theory. As Griffin stated in a first look at communications theory book, Sandra Paterno challenges some core assumptions of social penetration theory. She thinks it's simplistic to equate self-disclosure with relational closeness. It can lead to intimacy, but a person may reveal private information merely to express oneself, to release tension, or to gain relational control. In these cases, the speaker doesn't necessarily desire nor achieve a stronger bond with the confidant, and if the listener is turned off or disgusted by what was said, deep penetration can be swift. And what I think she's meaning to say is that sometimes sharing the personal info will not always work in your favor. So at that point, you really just have to keep your head up and keep moving on. But that's pretty much all I have for social penetration theory. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks.